Allow me to invite on the dais the moderator of the session, Mr. Nilesh Gaikwad.
He has been country manager for India region at EDHEC.
Introducing our first speaker, Ms. Maud Lebas. Ms. Maud Lebas is distinguished after a successful career in HR with FAO, PNG and Aceto. She has spent the last 9 years promoting
Government of Tamil Nadu, where she has led the Works Lab cell since January 2022 to strengthen industry, academia, collaboration and addresses workforce skill gap. With about 15 years of experience at the British Council and the British Deputy High Commission, she brings expertise in international trade relation, commercial diplomacy, and India-UK partnership. An alumna of Tamil Nadu Agriculture University and Loyola Institute of Business Administration, she recently completed an advanced leadership program for senior officials.
Our next speaker is Thomas Chamont. Mr. Thomas Chamont is a seasoned project manager in education with over 18 years of experience, including 16 years in Asia and 13 years in leading roles. He holds a bachelor's degree in law and economics, an MBA focused on Asian markets, and master's in public management from France National Administration. Throughout his career, he has focused on building education institutions, co-founding the first French private school dedicated to French language in China, managing a large European project that creates a joint master's degree across 4 universities, founding and leading the alliance.
Our next speaker is Mr. Rashid Salhi. Mr. Rashid Salhi is a seasoned project manager with over 30 years of experience in the energy industry and currently serves as an engineering representative and French foreign trade advisor. Beginning his career in 1987 near Nylon, he joined Technip Paris in 1992 and rose to head of steel design by 1998, contributing to major projects across Europe, Africa, the Middle East and Japan. Relocating to India in 2010, he led civil projects and preparation for the Jatapur nuclear project and strengthened collaboration between Technip French and Indian centers, making Technip India a benchmark for large-scale project execution. As a French foreign trade advisor, he plays a pivotal role in fostering Indo-French business ties, notably facilitating a visa processes MOU between Technip and the French consulate in Chennai.
Our next speaker is Mr. Amitabh Anand. Mr. Amitabh Anand is a managing director and executive board member of Lisa India Private Limited with over 2 decades of cross-functional experience, including 15 years of successfully leading the company in India institutional B2B market. With more than 9 years of P&L leadership, he continues to shape the country's strategic growth direction, people development, and organizational culture, fostering sustainable growth and market expansion. A very warm welcome to all the speakers. Mr. Nilesh Gaikwad, over to you, sir.
Higher Education Summit. So the topic for today is Leading Without Borders, a diplomatic and institutional leadership for a shared future. I have the pleasure of having insightful, experienced panelists who are going to discuss about a few questions, get a few tidbits about how we can better work between EU as well as India. Let's begin with the first question to Thomas Chamont. You are the attaché for cooperation of French language in South India. A couple of years back, the French government started something called as the Classes Internationales. Can you give us an idea about what was the idea generation, how did it work, and what are the results that we see around?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very very happy to be here this morning. Class International is a new tool actually to foster, to increase students' mobility from India to France. The baseline is basically that most of the Indian students will go to France, but this applies as well for other European countries, at graduate levels to study in English mostly. So here we have the language barrier, which is basically how to be more attractive for Indian students as European countries without the possibility to basically have students who are mastering the French language, the, German, and so on. So this is one of the first issues that we had to tackle down to increase the mobility. The other one was master's level versus bachelor degree. Because we want Indian students also to stay more than 1 or 2 years in France. We really want to increase the lifespan of an Indian student in Europe. I'm saying Europe because, as you may know, and this might be of interest for a EU-wide panel, when you ask for a student visa from France, what you get actually is a Schengen visa, which grants you the opportunity to travel everywhere within the Schengen area, but also to work as a postgraduate student or to apply for internships anywhere in Europe. So the European dimension is very much at the core of what we do, even if I'm part of the French embassy. I must say that this is a strong focus also for our cooperation. So Class International was about mainly the idea to say, okay, maybe currently Indian students are more willing to go for 1, maximum 2 years of master's degree in France. It's an economic choice as well because, families don't have necessarily the means to finance a full 5-6 years of studies abroad. So what we're going to do is that we are going to offer 1 preparatory year in France, which will be basically and mainly focused on learning the French language, but also methodologies, to get ready for the bachelor degree. And we will do that in close cooperation with universities, which means that the students will, after graduating the secondary school, will come directly to France, will spend a full year in France, with the right cultural, linguistic environment to learn French as quickly and efficiently as possible, and will get themselves familiar with the French higher education system. So it's one of the tools that we try to develop to increase mobility. Maybe one figure to keep in mind, we have a very ambitious target to welcome more than 30,000 Indian students by 2030. This is a very high-level target, which has been set by our president, Emmanuel Macron. We strive to do so. And one of the key arguments, maybe for the next panelist, will be to work on the continuum between what we do in terms of support for languages in India. My job is basically to help secondary school and universities in India to teach French as much and as best as possible. Student mobility. So once you learn French, then you can go to France, and this applies to any countries, European countries. But also employability, keeping in mind that we don't do brain drain. We don't have interest to recruit Indian doctors and so on. What we want is to train Indian people in France, so they have a very strong and for lifetime link with our country, so they can come back to India to contribute to Indian growth and the society, and ultimately they became ambassador of the bilateral relationship between the two countries.
Okay, thank you so much for your insights. Moving from Classes International France to a place close by, my next question is to Ms. Mathiva Thani. What role can the state level initiatives like Guidance Tamil Nadu play in fostering cross-border talent development? We heard from Toma that the Classes International is where we are initiating Indian students into learning the French language and then taking up a higher education degree. So something similar, or how does the Guidance Tamil Nadu initiative work?
Thank you for that. So, in terms of international mobility, the state has taken a conscious initiative to start language schools in Tamil Nadu. German, French, Spanish, Mandarin, and Taiwanese. So, this will be fully implemented starting January 2026 across several districts, and we are looking for language trainers. So, it's a open request here to help us in finding good training schools for us to partner with, because in terms of our students willing to study in Europe, that's like we have 170,000 students finishing their engineering program every year, and 25% of them would like to study abroad. So it is somewhere between 30 to 40,000 kids, and with the situation in US, people have started looking at Europe seriously. It was primarily UK the whole time. Right now, Netherlands, Germany, and France, they've taken a lot of attention. From the government, as an enablement initiative, we would like to equip them with language skills. We are fully aware of the fact that German and France and other schools would like to have basic knowledge of their language before entering. We wanted to ease that bit for students. So we are looking at partnering with language schools. The second one is my department, Work Labs, is to ensure we get the right kind of workforce for the incoming industries. So if you look at Germany, Tamil Nadu has about 190 plus German subsidiaries. Yeah, and if you look at the wider Europe, that's another 300 plus companies in Tamil Nadu. So what we are essentially doing is we have adopted Ausbildung model to Tamil Nadu. So Ausbildung is the dual vocation model that's adopted in Germany, where 3 days the student will be in the factory floor and 2 days they will be in the theory classroom. So we have adopted that right now, and we are happy to understand skilling models and learning models from other countries as well. And we will be happy to adopt that here, and we will create the workforce that is needed for companies of EU in Tamil Nadu and also back in EU. So the first batch of Ausbildung is going to start by June 2026 with 120 students in Chennai, and it will scale up to another 10,000 in the next 6 years. So these are the top of the mind initiatives that I can share right now. Language schools and adopting EU model of learning so that our students are skilled on global standards.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Having taken the insights from the government organizations, let's move to industry experts. Rachit, given your expertise in the global engineering leadership, and you have seen how the engineering schools and the engineering education has transitioned over the last couple of decades or so, what are the skill sets you think students should have to become successful within their early profession?
Okay, thank you for your question. So I will just share my industry experience, considering that when I came in India, it was in 2010, and I found a big gap in terms of communication and cultural. So to streamline our execution for the major project, we decided to increase the collaboration and exchange between people. So before we are transferring activity from India, from European Union to India, at some stage of progress, and then we continue the project in India. So it was not the good approach The good approach is to involve both countries at the beginning of each project. So means people will start the same project in France and they continue to execute the project in India. So we developed this exchange, and I'm very proud to say that in 15 years we almost exchanged like more than 1,000 engineers between France and Europe and India. The next one is to be collaborative. So to be collaborative is to break the bridge between the wall between Europe and India. To do it, we have to increase the communication between people. So we develop many activities where all engineers are able to expose their feeling, expose their idea without any concern or fear. So now it's working very well. We really improve our collaboration, and I can share some maybe some opinion that it was when I started to work in India. My colleagues in France were a little bit scared that we are going to share too much work to India and they are going to lose their job in France. But in fact, it was not the case. We start with a small project in India, and now today we are doing $billions of business in India. We increase our capacity because we developed this exchange. So industry and education, they have to be ready to reinforce the exchange between the both continents. And then the last things is we have also to be a more solving approach. Means to be to develop education, the school, the skill of people to be able to find solution, because today we are in a new system. Everything is going very fast, and we should be ready to continue to learn. Education is not finished at the end of the school. You have to be followed in all our professional life, and we have to maintain this continuous learning in the permanently.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Okay. Let me move to Amitabh and get your views on the same question, but from your industry perspective.
Am I audible? Yeah. Morning, and thank you for inviting me for this session. From industry side, most of the time we are having a reactive approach. Hello. We are having a reactive approach where we say, okay, we just go to the campus, hire people, hire students, and come back and feel good about it. But in my view, we have to move from this transactional campus hiring over to creating some partnership with the universities, which are deeply involved and engaging, and this in a way should help creating learning opportunities for the students, or co-creating learning opportunities for the students together with the industry. This also will enable enhanced learning experiences that students might face if this kind of partnership is there. And also in terms of creating an exposure of the students to the deep learning towards leadership, structured leadership program. So that, in my view, is important, that we transition from transactional campus hiring over to creating partnership with the universities.
Okay, so moving from a reactive approach to creating more partnerships upfront, that's what your view is. Coming to Maud Lebar, you have been within the education industry for quite a long time. What kind of institutional models or academic frameworks have worked in the past, according to you, and what we should be doing in the coming years to ensure that there is an increased mobility, or rather there is a sustained mobility between India and EU?
Thank you very much for the question. That's one area where there's so much that is happening, and the NEP has accelerated it. But even before that, I would say on the French point of view, you had already French schools that had decided to open campuses here, and they're still there today, which means they have been successful. And that's because they came with something complementary that was not existing here. So if you come with this idea of really, I would say, solving an issue that might be there, or filling an empty space, I think this is very interesting, and the NEP is making it more efficient. So the question is, why should we do all this anyway? Why should we have those dual degrees, those transnational campuses, etc.? For France, clearly, the objective of this mobility is, as you said, to create a long-term relationship and a long-term friendship between our two countries, and through the youth. This is part of our strategy, clearly. And that means that not only we want to bring Indian students to study in France, we want to triple in number, which in a time like this is really nice to hear, I suppose, but in a sustainable way. 30,000 is an ambitious number, but when you compare to what Canada, US, or all those countries used to give, you might find it a bit small, but that's what a country like France can, sustainably welcome, and that ensure that the students would have, chances to make the most of it in the long run. Now, this said, we also need the French to come to India. The whole idea is that, we exchange, and that's, you can have campuses that allow that. If you think of transnational campus that allow French students to come, and have the same programs here, that can work. But something that works very well for France in particular is the exchange programs, reciprocal exchange program. For the selective schools in France, we call this grande école. You have to be aware that it's mandatory for the students to spend one semester abroad. And it's generally sending them, a few of them in each and every partner university. The schools that I represent, for instance, EC Engineering School in INSEC, ESC, and all of those, and I'm pretty sure that's true for EDEC, in fact. We have over 190 partner universities around the world, and we send our students there. If they spend 5 years with us, they would have done 2 semesters abroad. And that means in exchange, for free, we will welcome also students from those universities. That allows to have students of all type of means to have a chance to do that. So this is another model that generally is not exposed much. We speak more of those transnational campuses. We speak of those 2+1, 1+1, which are all great, all good. But this is another way of making it happen. But again, here, it's not going to touch everyone. So what are the other options that you can have to, create that relationship? You have COIN, that is something that partner universities that have very strong relationship with each other can start implementing. So having 2 groups of students following the same course and work on a project transnationally, but staying in each countries. That is not that easy to implement, but very powerful as a tool. You do have also the possibility to have international weeks, because it could start from the faculty point of view, having faculty traveling to partner university for a week, and maybe it's not that much of a headache for organization to free one professor for a week. They're very important for. So if you expect to have a professor from a university abroad that is spending a full semester, that might be very complicated to implement. But if it's a week, 2 weeks, and you organize the course this way, that is possible. That is something that can work. I do know of Indian institutions that have applied that very efficiently. French schools generally do that also very, very well. And this could be part of the mobility programs you could have.
Let me go back to Thomas. And would you be fine if I ask you some queries about how the missions can work closely with the countries? Okay, cool. So you have the European diplomatic mission and the Indian embassies also. How can they work closely so that there are some chunks within the visa applications which are there can be eased out and it becomes easier for students from both parts of the world to travel without any issues?
Yeah, okay. So we do have a French public organization which is called Campus France, which is fully funded by the French government. And the job of this organization is basically to inform, help any students, any Indian students for free that would like to consider studying in France. So in Chennai, you have no less than 2 full-time job here dedicated to that, and any students can knock at the door of the consulate basically and request for a one-to-one meeting, and will receive advice for depending on what she or he want to do in France as a major and so on. Advice about not only what will be the best university in France to apply, but also all the administrative and visa procedure. So, as you know, the bilateral relationship between France and India is extremely strong, and considering also that the student mobility, but more largely speaking, human-to-human mobility is a very strong focus between our two head of state at the very highest level. All the visa issue is basically a tool to help us to achieve that. So of course there is some, as any process, sometimes you don't have a 100% guarantee when you apply for a student visa to get it, but it's always for good reason, I will say. Like there is a consular service whose job is basically to ensure that those are real students with a real project, that they are mature enough also to not to waste their time in France, because we don't want that. We don't want to be a mistake in the life of one given student. So it's important to do this job. But we also are here to help all partners, Indian partners, to basically to push and to foster this kind of exchanges. So any university in Tamil Nadu, for instance, can call me, and if they want to send a student in France, we will accompany, we will basically help on the process. And something which maybe relate more to your previous question, what would be the advice to to really push for Indian institutions? If you want to increase your partnership with France, please do consider also investing in languages here in India. It's quite easy actually to open a French language department or a German language department. As far as French is concerned, we can help to finance and to provide trainings for the teachers. And it's really a must if you want your students to be able to be part of an exchange program in Europe as well. We tend to think that English is the lingua franca everywhere, and it's very much true in India, but a little bit less in Europe, as a matter of fact. And in any case, I do believe that Indian people, as in general, one of the wealth of the culture in India are languages. All of you guys are already multilingual in the sense that you all at least speak 2-3 languages. So one more is okay.
All right. Majority of the European countries have a government-appointed body that helps with the visa application processes before you actually go to the VFS and submit your visa applications. Coming to Mathivatani, Ms. Mathivatani, what reforms or strategic interventions at the state level can be introduced now to ensure that there is an influx of students who are ready to join in the EU, or rather the mobility opportunities across the different schools?
if you look at our international mobility programs for students, we have this Tamil Nadu's flagship scheme called Naan Mudalvan, loosely translated to I Am First, where we select students across Tamil Nadu through a hackathon or a competition in partnership with the university, and we send them to that university for about 40 hours of training. That's roughly 1 to 2 weeks, and we've been getting excellent feedback from students, and the universities are also pretty content because there is conversion to long-term degree programs from the student batch we send to these universities. We have, in the past, we had sent university student cohorts to Durham, University of Durham, Kyoto University, and I think in Australia we did send one batch, and we want to make it more frequent and make it more routine. So if there are universities who are interested to absorb our candidates, the state government is willing to take care of their travel and accommodation. So we are very interested in. So we can start thinking about that with many other universities in Europe. The second area is affordability. So affordability is a huge factor for our students to pursue studies abroad. I'm not talking about the private university students, but the government colleges and colleges that are dependent on the government system, students will definitely need support in financing their tuition fee. It's not the entire tuition waive off, but if there could be a consideration on some part of the tuition fee being waived off, we will be happy to explore match funding in that area as well. So that way students don't take the entire brunt of 100% tuition fees from their pocket. So barring affordability, there is no doubt of merit of European universities. I think everybody will be up for choosing their preferred university in Europe. So we are working out ways to ease the burden of financing these students. So one is requesting waive off of part tuition fees from university, and we're also looking at industrial sponsors to send these students abroad. This will have to be taken on a case-to-case basis. So if there are universities who are willing to partner with us, we would be happy to take that forward.
That's quite interesting, an opportunity which TN government is providing. Moving on to Rachit. Earlier I asked you about how the students can be ready for their entry into the professional circuit. Now let me move back to the colleges. How can we as a college, Indian as well as the European ones, what can we do differently so that our students get the best of the training before they enter into the professional life?
Okay, I think this question is valid for European Union and for India. So the industry, they have a needs, and education, they are providing, they are supplying our needs. But sometimes we are working a little bit far. Our needs is not really very well described and explained, and we need to create a more collaborative communication between education and industry. Industry need to define what they need. Education need to anticipate what will be the future needs, because today the society are moving very fast. Technology are changing very fast. 10 years ago, we are not working like today, and we need to be prepared. So this one, industry and education, we have to reinforce their collaboration to define some knowledge at some step. And then industry need to also to take their own responsibility to add additional training to the student. In my company, for example, we are taking batch of students after graduation, and then we train them during 1 year. So we train them to be adjusted in our needs, but we need maybe to be more proactive by providing our needs to the education. The second point is to spend some money from industry. Nothing is free. You have to invest, and to invest, we have to develop some maybe virtual project or virtual lab to increase the exchange and to propose some project that there is no value at the end, but the best value is that we are providing education, experience to the people. So students, they join the industry with minimum experience, which is very good and helping everyone. That's it for me.
Okay, moving to Amita, we heard about what we can do within engineering schools. How would you think we should work within the manufacturing industry?
Okay, so my proposal is probably to create a more domestic opportunity pipeline. So this can be done by adopting a dual education and apprenticeship program with industry participation which is like 50-50 split between classroom theory and supervised on-job learning. That could be model 1. And the model 2 could be creating company-embedded academies and finishing schools where the students are given training on some of the select or advanced topics like maybe EV or smart manufacturing, or maybe digital twins on the manufacturing side, or advanced materials. And the model 3 could be joint innovation labs or project-driven problems, and the exposure of the students to the topics which are live, something like enhancing productivity or increasing efficiency within the manufacturing setup. And I believe that if the student during his time in the learning with this kind of partnership will definitely get acclimatized to how this would be done on a global scale. So that's my recommendation, to develop this in-house within the country.
Quite
itself.
a practical approach.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Maud, my final question to you. What changes do you believe Indian and European institutions must adopt to scale the collaborative frameworks effectively?
That's a very wide question. Maybe to learn about each other more. That's the first thing, and I really appreciate the Council for organizing this event this time in Chennai to expand the reach. On the side of the European countries, I'm very happy to see quite a lot of French representative, and seeing that there are other countries from Europe that are there. I really would vote for more for that, because we don't know enough of each other, clearly, and there's a whole world outside of the US, UK, Australia, Canada of the world, and I've had the chance to visit some beautiful campus, amazing engineering campus here in February, March in Chennai. It was just after the 10th February 2025 when we created the Global AI Action Summit that was co-presided by Narendra Modi and Emmanuel Macron, and coming to India next year for the Year of Innovation. And nobody had heard about it on those campuses. Nobody had heard about it. I mean, it was just, something new. They didn't know that France was a big power for AI, and Europe in general, I would say. That France is getting, as announced at that time, $110 billion of private investment in the field of AI, and investing big time here. That France is working with India very strongly on a third way in AI that we really need. You hear about that AI bubble all the time, because the models that come from the US, for instance, is very, resource, requires a lot of resource. The model that we are looking at building is more on optimized models that would require less resources. So there's really something interesting to discuss, and we need to make it visible in each other, countries. On education. So this is a call for maybe inviting us more on the campuses so that we can tell more about this. We'll be happy to do so. To scale more, I mean, what can I say? I prepared a few things, but in Europe side, we need to promote India much more. I was mentioning the exchange program. They only work if there is reciprocity. On the management school side, it's been there for a lot of time, but it was mainly Indian students coming and less of French students, so an unbalanced. In engineering, it's both sides. They were not showing much of an interest in the first place, so we had to promote it. Though it's like a free one full semester that you can spend on both countries. So let's not assume that everybody has heard of it or everybody finds it attractive. We have to make it visible, to make them understand what is there. So it's an appeal that I'm giving you here. What else can I say? I prepared more or less. We need to build trust with each other as well. That means the Indian schools, that I'm speaking more for the European side, the Indian schools, they've been approached by the world. They have very strong networks on the professor, the faculty, the administration side with all those countries, because they've been doing that for years. We have to take the time, we Europeans, to build that trust and build things that are for the long run and that are interesting, and filling that empty space I was mentioning before. So that's definitely something to do. On the side of India, what could you do? I've heard of a lot of language, and as a European myself, where English is not my second language at all. I'm French, but I learned German before learning English. I learned Russian before learning English. I don't know, a little bit of it. Right? Language are supposed to be there to help the peace. I learned some ancient Greek, and then I started English because, they are, one sea away, and German are nearby. But that's the thing, is that just like India has such a richness of language, this is what we get also in Europe. And one of the added advantage of an Indian student choosing Europe, not just France, Europe in general, is that you can access also learning new languages. And that's, I think, something they should consider as a big plus. French would be an obvious choice with 54 countries around the world speaking French, but it's not the only language that is there. And if you were spending 3 years, 5 years in France, you would be beneficiating from that, maybe 1 or 2 semesters abroad yourself. So not only you could learn French while studying in English, for instance, you could also learn Spanish, German, or another language from Europe. So consider that as one of the added advantage of coming to Europe that you don't find anywhere else. And that could start from here, so to ease it up, and that's what I would say.
Maud cheekily missed upon mentioning her adventures of learning Hindi. All right.
And some Canada.
Sorry?
Some Canada.
Yeah. So I'm done asking my set of queries. We already have a couple of queries for Ms. Mathivathani. If anyone has any queries, please do jot them down on the writing pad which is there, and you can hand it over to one of the members over here. So this question is from Deepak, who comes from Bhasha Academy. And this question is for Ms. Mathivathani. How to collaborate with your government for language school requirements? We are ready to work with your government for schools for language education.
Sure. So we have a process of procurement when it comes to training partners, and it is basically 3 steps. One is empaneling you as our training provider, and number 2, there will be a request for proposal that we will be. It's on a rolling basis. It's always in our website. So once the proposal is submitted, we will have our multi-departmental committee go through the proposal, and the 3rd step is a presentation to our technical committee. So before all of this, I know in government procurement process is quite complicated. So we can help you in every step of the way. What is easier is simply come meet us at guidance, and we will take you to Nan Mudalvan office. It is just next building, and we will introduce you to the right people over there. For us to take you there, it would be good if there is a portfolio or a brief brochure of your company, and we can yeah. Thank you. So we can take it forward. My mail coordinates are with Renu ma'am, so you may please contact me as well in mail, WhatsApp, anything works.
And don't worry, the panelists are not going anywhere. They'll be here. You can, of course, have a one-on-one discussion with them. My second question is also to you, and this is coming from Suresh Ji from Mr. International. Through which medium are you connecting with our students in Tamil Nadu regarding the OST bidding program?
So we are connecting with the students through Directorate of Technical Education. So it's the state's apex body that oversees admission of all engineering and polytechnic students. So since it's students' data, there's a lot of data protection, and we go through only this single window, Directorate of Technical Education, and they do the admission process and selection through our state's admission protocol. And the final set of students are then again being assessed by our German training partners. So that's the one way, that's the only way that we assess and shortlist students for Ausbildung.
I have to apologize. There's one more question for you. How can Harvard University collaborate with TN government? The question is coming from Sheila. Have I read it right? Yeah. Okay.
Harvard. Okay. So there are three ways, long, medium, short, for universities to collaborate in Tamil Nadu. The long format is establishing your branch campus in Tamil Nadu. We have a 800-acre land parcel 50 kilometers from Chennai, Knowledge City, where we are planning to house international branch campuses. We already have Aachen University and University of Western Australia, who will be opening their branch campuses very soon in Tamil Nadu. So we thank you. So we welcome Harvard to please open your branch campus. I know it's not that easy, but there should be a beginning for something. And the second medium form is we have a lot of emphasis on the R&D initiatives. So even if it is not the entire Harvard, the state has focus on 5 big sectors. We call it the Focus 5, semiconductors, blue economy, green hydrogen, life sciences, and everything deep tech. So in these 5 areas, if there are innovation labs or centers of excellence that you would like to establish, the government can support, starting with provision of basic infrastructure or build to suit in any of our universities, to connecting them to the right industries for problem statements. There's going to be a very big announcement. It's very tempting to share here, but please wait for the next couple of weeks. There will be 2 big announcements that will be relevant to this question asked, and the clue is research parks. Yeah, so we can house Harvard University in one of our research parks. The immediate tactical way to partner with Harvard is start a dual degree program. We'll be happy to facilitate that, right from finding universities to mobilizing students. We'll be happy to do that. So these are the 3 ways, not just Harvard, any university. These are the 3 ways that Tamil Nadu government can partner.
Okay. All right. Can't wait for the announcements to come.
Yeah.
I have a question from Sally. Is Sally around? Okay. The question is, it was mentioned that there are investors who fund the student to travel and study in Europe. The question is, why would an investor do it? And I would like to also extend it to our industry professionals as to if you are funding a student on a scholarship basis to go to France or any of the other parts of EU, then what's in it for the company?
So there are two reasons industries fund students to go abroad. The first is they have this corporate social responsibility in rewarding students who are truly deserving. So we've been lobbying quite hard with those industries to divert some of their pot towards offering scholarships to our students. Again, there's going to be a really big company who has made a big commitment to this. So I can't say it right now, but you will maybe another week's time. So there's a CSR angle, social impact funding. The second one is upskilling of their own professionals. So there are companies who will send their mid-career or early career professionals for a sabbatical for 6 months or 1 year abroad, and they learn the skill set and they come back. So it's not very uncommon, and we will be happy to identify those industries for organizations for you.
Rachit, would you like to add some of your comments?
Yes, for us, it's also a good opportunity to take people from India, because in fact we have today in the global situation is not improving, and India really you have a very good education system, very strong one, and this one is helping us. So that's why we are looking also to recruit people. In my company, for example, we are recruiting people from India. We are using, maybe Thomas can correct me, but we are using also some program to get people in France, like we are calling talent visa. Talent visa, so is something that we can recruit people, and for 5 years minimum, and then we can after that we can stay in France and continues to work with us. So it's a good program.
Okay.
Maybe I can give an example for such thing for France. I had the pleasure to start the first of those programs with a company called Le Grand that had been invested for more than 30 years here in India. But they were interested in having profiles would go for more leadership roles that would be engineers, but being taught marketing, would have had one experience at the headquarters in France before coming back here. They were not necessarily very well known, so they had to work, surprisingly enough, on their employment branding here, which is a word we used a lot in France or in Europe for HR, much less here. But you do have big names that have a lot of needs of HR and find themselves not very well known by the general public here. So then we started with these two at the beginning. So part of their tuition fees were taken care of. They were offered before traveling an internship, paid internship, because in France internships are paid by law. In the headquarters, and among them, one decided to come back to India for a territory manager role in Le Grand India. So that was successful. They went through a foundation that was then created by the Institut Français, and they have been doing that for a few years, having 10 to 20 students that were beneficiating from that, and they use the CSR, in fact, as a model for it. I don't believe it has, after the COVID, I think it has kind of stopped, but that's something we will be working on further. However, a student who has spent at least a year in France is anyway having the possibility to apply for apprenticeship, which is this program where the company pays the tuition fees and pays a stipend to the students throughout the year, and the courses are organized so that they can spend part of the time here and there. So they are very much ready to do it, but they would require a few extra level of skills. So, for instance, having acquired the French language for France is something that would be really helpful, but that can really help a student get, part of the studies funded. So it may not be from living to France directly, but after sometimes it's possible in France.
Just a quick comment on that. The visa itself also allows that. After graduation, you have a period of time you can stay in France and in Europe to look for internship or apprenticeship.
Amitabh, would you like to give your 2 cents?
Yeah, I would like to profess the idea of upskilling if there are no opportunities for doing it within the country, yes. If there are no opportunities, then maybe investing into sending from India on sponsorship basis is an opportunity. But then my question still remains, if there are those gaps, and then probably institutions and the industry have to come together to identify those gaps. And I would, as mentioned earlier, I would always profess, if and only if there is a gap in India that the upskilling opportunity for our students do not exist within the country, then maybe yes.
Okay, got it. Second to last question, because we are running short of time. I'll have to once again apologize to Ms. Mathivatani. The question comes from V. Parthasarthi. You spoke about the OSPEDing program. Is it open for private universities or is it only open for public universities?
So it's right now for polytechnic colleges. So right now, if as it's adopted by the government of Tamil Nadu, any private polytechnic college can also take part in the Ausbildung model, and the degree will be recognized by Directorate of Technical Education. The model is not yet a transaction to higher education or degree programs. For the phase 1, we have only confined it to polytechnic colleges. And yes, private polytechnic colleges can also take part in this.
Got it. Thank you so much for your inputs. I think we have time for one last question. Yes, Pat.
So when we are talking about students going to Europe.
The mic is coming.
Hello, yes. Good morning to all. It may be a repetition, I don't know. When we say students going to abroad and studying, everyone, most of them I come across, they definitely look for, to recover that investment value. They want to work minimum 3 years, 4 years there. By the time there is a gap arises, the loan, the parents take a loan, all the things are currently happening. Why not the industry, and especially to our guidance, bring some kind of an equity model here, since you're working with the companies. Let's say, for example, you said about 35,000 students are going. I have some schemes like where let parents put 50% in as investment equity along with guidance or something like more. We people have investing many opportunities, and government should put 50% into it. And together, it will be managed by a professional investment bodies. And these funds should fund the entire students' university expenses free. If there is anywhere in the world, if there is a opportunity for him to play somewhere, so for this the equity should be contributed by all the industry, like you said, 300 plus industry, German, European, EU subsidiaries here. So make them all put $100,000. I am feeding you talent. I have to fund them. If they get a job, fine. If not, we come back. See, in a situation like US also happened suddenly. So there are also the ministry level questionings happening. India is paying out so much money, and people go and stay there. Where is that contribution back? So this could be one way. We will be very keen to work on it if you can take some initiative. I am actually governing board member as well as we have a company Indus Finance. We have in Chennai only. Thank you. So maybe your views on this also could be talked.
That's an interesting proposition for the panelists to all to think over it in the coming days or months and see if something like this can work. Because we keep talking about industry academia partnership, we never bother to think about, okay, even from the parents or the students side, we could have something like this coming through and can create a corpus through which the students can go abroad and study.
French government, when we met as the French government is showing it's taken to 10%, 20% equity in it.
So it's a collective global effort, both the ways.
Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, panelists, for your insights. It was an insightful session. We discussed from Thomas, we got to know about the Classes International and the work of Campus France. We have almost every European university, European country rather, who have a government appointed body who looks after the visa application processes. So you can reach out to these bodies as well. From Rachid, industry professional, he spoke about wanting to be more collaborative, leave fear behind, streamline work execution through communication and cultural understanding. Maud, always a pleasure having you here. She spoke about how we would want to build sustainable partnerships between institutions across the different nations. Amitabh wanted to move away from reactive approach to a more, I would say, joint approaches. Look at what the future requires and then provide it upfront rather than waiting for it. We had Ms. Mathivatani who spoke about starting language schools starting from Jan 2026, OS bidding program, which is kind of the apprenticeship program which is followed in some of the European companies as well, the I Am First scheme. So a lot of interesting things happening within the Tamil Nadu government as well. We are waiting for the announcement that would come through in a couple of weeks' time. But it's my utmost pleasure to have you all here. Thank you so much for the audience. You have been wonderful, and I hope you had good learnings, good takeaways, and of course you can have a one-on-one discussion with the panelists. They are going to be here as well. Thank you so much.